welcome to this conversation brought to you by White House Custom Color. I'm Jed Toffer, and today I'm speaking with Karen Marie of Belly Beautiful. Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Coming at us from Sacramento, the Sacramento area in California, correct?
That is correct.
and you were saying it's been beautiful out there in the 80s?
Yes, it's been 85 degrees.
Oh my goodness, that's pool weather.
Yes. Loving it. Loving it. No, actually it's we call it like maternity session weather because it's the perfect temperature to go outside. It's not too hot yet in the evenings and you get that beautiful golden light. So we have maternity sessions going every single night for the next 2 weeks. So
And you don't have to worry about the babies getting cold.
No.
That's always a bonus.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about providing an experience from start to finish. But let's hear a little bit about you first. Who is Karen Marie?
Well, Karen Marie is a photographer and has had a studio for the past 11 years. I was a former labor and delivery nurse, so my business has always been about babies. I absolutely love what I do. We've gotten so busy. Last year, our studio went viral with the Disney newborn princesses, and we've recently had to hire on an associate photographer, and I searched far and wide to find somebody who was equal caliber as far as technicality, just, the same type of style, and just kind of train that person into making them part of the Belly Beautiful team. So that just happened. So we're growing.
Hi.
Our studio's growing. There's only so much of me to go around. And I want to start teaching and doing workshops and going around and talking about my career as a photographer and helping new photographers into the business. So in order for me to do that, I have to kind of pull back here and start, instead of, being always for clients, now being for photographers.
So you want the studio to be able to run even if you're not there.
Absolutely. Yes.
What would you say if we're providing an experience from start to finish? Where does the experience start?
It starts with the initial contact from a client. From the website or somebody referring someone. Most of our clients are referrals from other clients, which has been amazing. We haven't had to do any marketing in 11 years, which has been really nice. Just word of mouth, it carries on so much further than what we really think. But their initial contact with us by email, phone call, us as a staff making sure that we call everyone back as soon as possible, being able to get our clients in for a consultation so we can meet face-to-face and educate our new clients about professional portraiture. For many, it's their client's first time. They usually have a lot of questions. Usually I get well, do you just throw everything on a CD and send it to me? And our answer is no. I want to educate them on, professional portraiture and the printing and what the difference is, what really makes us different than, other photographers who call themselves professional. I don't know if that was really that professional for me to say, but
when you do get the question about images on a CD or images, just a bunch of JPEGs, how do you handle that specifically?
We like to explain to them about what a digital file is versus, or an edited digital file versus just a bunch of images just thrown on a CD. A lot of people, and especially in the maternity and newborn industry, I'm sure other photographers have to deal with this too, when it's more of a boutique experience. And, with our studio, we have a session fee, and then we have our actual collections, our digital collections and print collections. We don't just have a set price where you get all of your digitals on a USB or CD, for instance, like a wedding, so it's a little different for, at least my studio is run a little bit differently. So it's always educating. The whole process is educating your clients through this whole thing. I mean, from, if you're going to be doing a newborn session and the mom is going to eat spicy food the night before, it's just little things to educate them to help the client have a really good experience, and for us as photographers have a good experience as well. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but that's another, that was something that I was going to talk about later on, when you're doing your session.
But even from the beginning, it sounds as though you're very prepared.
You have to be. When somebody walks into their studio and they're going to be investing money into you, you need to be prepared and on top of it and as professional as possible. So I always like to throw out there that I'm a member of the PPA, that our studio is insured, that I'm a former nurse, so I always talk about that. My business has always been about babies, and I want them to feel absolutely comfortable. I have women who walk in here and hand me their babies and walk in the other room, and it's like, wow, they really trust me with their brand new human that they just created.
Right.
So
right.
I mean, I want to create that trust and that actually, I even call it like a bond. I mean, when you're doing maternity and newborn pictures or even wedding pictures or whatever you're doing, you're capturing a special moment in someone's life. So you want to make sure that they are investing, that they feel like they're investing in something that's worthwhile to them.
Yeah, and they're going to associate that with the images.
Absolutely.
Forever.
Yes. I don't want them to look on their wall and say, that's a beautiful picture, but that photographer was awful. I had an awful experience.
Right.
I felt terrible.
Right.
No.
Right.
So,
yeah, that happens. I mean, people might not think that happens, but there's so much association that we give to the imagery, and it can be a gorgeous image, but if it was a mess, you're going to probably try to get an image from somebody else next time.
Absolutely. And so it is about giving good work and, being technically proficient, but it's also about, I feel, again, providing a client experience.
So what's the second part, or maybe let's just say the next part after that initial contact, whether it's by phone or email? What happens next with you guys?
So with us, they come in for their consultation, and that's where we kind of go over all of our investment information. I don't like to call it pricing. We call it investment because it is. That's exactly what it is. They are very taken back at first, with our pricing. We are on the higher price, and I have no problem telling people that you get what you pay for kind of thing. We do provide everything here for our clients. So from maternity gowns that are freshly laundered and dry cleaned after they're used to all of the newborn props. I'm definitely a prop hoarder, and I have a huge room full of, I have two studios right next to each other because we just got so much stuff that I needed a huge prop room, and I'm sure every newborn photographer can understand. But we have, between me and my new associate photographer, we have almost 200 maternity gowns from So Trendy that that we have. We have a huge extensive collection. So when our clients come in, we say, look, all you have to do is show up. We have a hair and makeup artist here on staff. We just want to provide this all-inclusive experience for you. It's just like your wedding. You want to prepare for it and get ready and be pampered and feel good. Because not all the time when you're pregnant do you feel amazing. My maternity shoot is the reason why I'm doing what I do now. I felt amazing. So I want to provide that for each one of my clients while being technically proficient. So also at their consultation, we discuss things like, some things are with maternity and newborn, it's a very emotional time. So we talk about all the different kinds of things, and women share with me that they've had, miscarriages and stillborns, and we really get into some really deep conversations sometimes. And it's kind of like a newer thing, but it's called rainbow babies. So we have a few gowns here that we allow our moms who have had stillborns and miscarriages to wear these rainbow gowns, and not that we provide a different experience for them, but it's a little bit different in the way you would approach them. You're honoring a life that was, and you're cherishing and celebrating a life that's coming. So that is definitely something that's a very kind of a touchy subject, and some women want to talk about it and some don't. So I would, I like to sit there and listen to them, and I want them to be able to feel comfortable in talking that with me. We actually had a woman who came in, and she kept talking about butterflies, and she felt like butterflies were around her all the time, and she felt, she was pregnant with twins and she lost one of them. And so she kept saying that she felt like butterflies were around her. So during her maternity session, I went and I ordered online some live butterflies, and we let those go while we were doing the session. And one of them, landed on her, and it was emotional. And even though she started, tearing up a little bit, those pictures have so much emotion, and she loved them just because there was that thoughtfulness that went into it. And I'm not saying that every session needs, is like that, where we go out and purchase all of this stuff, but just doing little things and talking to your clients and making, especially women, feel good about themselves. Every time they walk in here, for a session, I want them to walk out feeling amazing and feeling beautiful.
Well, and you were able to do that because you spoke with her and got to know her in the consultation and found out that information.
Right. Yep.
You put the effort into the relationship, so to speak, to get to know that. And then you had the next decision to make was whether or not to do something like order live butterflies. I mean, that's really incredible to me. It sounds as though you're putting a tremendous amount of effort into providing not only an experience, but really like this safe environment for people to come in and to feel like everything's okay and that they are beautiful. It sounds like a spa, like in my mind, I'm thinking that you're running this really high-end spa or something like that,
Yeah, I would say it's similar to that. And especially with maternity, like we always hear people say they have pregnancy brain or new mommy brain. And that is really a thing. I have 3 children, I remember. But
yeah.
So once they book their consultation or once they book their session with us, then we send them information on how to prepare for their session. And like I tell them, we don't provide men's clothes, unfortunately, but or underwear. We've been asked that before, but we do provide all of the gowns and everything. So they don't have to worry about styling. They don't have to worry about any of that. They can come in, have their hair and makeup done. My assistant takes them over. We pick out the gowns together. We pick out the floral crowns or whatever else we're using. Then, kind of get started with their session. Once their session's completed, then we talk about when they're going to be able to view their images. So we have an image reveal, which is where they come in and they see a slideshow of their pictures. And that's where they will pick and select their images and what they're wanting to purchase. And before we even get into that, the image reveal session, at the initial consultation, we talk about like the editing, because women are always and forever being so critical. I'm the same way. I'm just very critical of ourselves. And so we discuss, the skin retouching and the editing and the things that go into it. So that's why when people start saying, oh, do you just throw all of your images on a CD? No, we don't. We do professional portraiture here. And I feel like the industry, I feel like it's kind of honing back in on actual printing, which is a great thing because it's been, digital files are always going to be a thing. And it was a very hard decision for me I was back, 15 years ago was when I was training with another photographer, and he was like, your digital files are everything. You want to keep those. That's your everything. So, and then people started kind of throwing images on a disc and giving digital files. And, our studio went to that route as well, but I've always included professional printing. So all of our packages here at our studio, whether you get, 5 digital files or our biggest package, which includes albums and grandparent albums and that, they always include a print, because I feel like a part of this experience is I want them to walk in and not just give them a USB drive or give them a CD and then they walk out. I want them to come in and see, and I feel like it's a completion. I feel like I need that as well, because here I've invested all this time. I've held their babies. I've been peed and pooped on several times, I'm sure. And I've spent all of this time working with them, and then to just hand them something that doesn't have something that they can see, touch, and feel, I feel like that's a disservice to my clients. So whether they purchase prints or they don't, I always include prints. So
when they come in for that reveal, are all of those images retouched before they, like the images that they see, are all of them retouched?
No, when they come in, we do a soft proofing. So the only thing that's completely edited is the images that, like, where we've had to do composites, where we've done baby like in the little froggy pose, and my assistant has held their head and then held their arms, and we've composited together, or anything that like the baby looks like it's hanging. I would never show a client, oh, this is what it could look like if you put these two together. That, again, I feel is not professional. So we do a soft proofing. I like to shoot clean from the beginning, so that way there's only very just minor things to fix. We have baby acne and all kinds of different stuff, skin tones, jaundice, all of that. So I try to fix that as much as possible in Lightroom, and then we do their image reveal, and I let them know that whatever they pick and they choose that's what's going to be fully edited, and that's where we're going to take care of all of the skin bumps and all of that stuff, because we do show them quite a few images at their image reveal.
Sure. So then what, after the reveal, that's the ordering process?
Yes. So then after they do see their slideshow, we go through their images one by one. I want the images to kind of speak for themselves. So I hate to say, I'm not the best salesperson. I let them pick out what they love. Sometimes I'm asked questions as far as like, well, what do you think this one versus this one? And I'll give my professional opinion. There are a lot of times where I'm like, that image is amazing. Oh my God, you have to have it. And then they're like, they love something else because something else evoked an emotion. And then a mom saw a certain pose of their baby or a certain look on their face that they're just absolutely in love with. So I'm not going to sit here and go, well, no, you should be choosing this one or this one. I let them, you know, and I'm not a this is not high pressured sales. The only time I ever talk to them is like, okay, well, if you purchase these pictures individually versus this package is actually going to give you more and save you more. And, you know, they appreciate me being honest, open and honest with them of what we're going to do. I want them to know I'm not here to push them to buy the biggest package.
Then at the end of an order, how do you, are they expected to pay in full that day? Like, how do you handle the payment process?
Well, our process is because we are an investment, and I tell people this, and husbands especially all the time, we do allow for payment plans. So kind of what typically happens in our studio is we'll do a maternity session and then a maternity or image reveal. And at that session, whatever package they choose, they have to put 50% down. Then the other 50% can be broken up in 2 to 3 payments. So another one can be made at their newborn session, and then another one can be made at their newborn image reveal. And then we allow that payment process. So that way they can get what they want. A lot of times they'll start with a smaller package, and then they'll say, oh my gosh, I love all of these newborn pictures. I want to upgrade. And I haven't even had to say anything yet. So we have 6 different packages, and they kind of start at, so a lot of our packages they're split. So you can do so many maternity and so many newborn, and we don't care what the breakdown is. And so they'll come in and they'll, you know, just say that they want 10 or 12 maternity images, then they absolutely love those. And then they only have like 8 left for their newborn. Well, then when they come in and see their newborn session and they want another, you know, they want 15 images, more of just the baby.
They want more. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we upgrade their package, and then they, you know, again, they can break that into payments. So for us, it's very beneficial and very profitable without having to push it.
Do you do much with social media?
Oh, I wish I could do more. So Instagram has been a big thing for me, especially over the past year. My Instagram went from like 12,000 followers to 26,000 followers. And that a lot of that I attribute to, you know, going viral with Babbel and Disney last June. That was something I really wasn't quite ready for, but it happened, and I'm so happy it happened. It made me learn a lot about my business and what I can handle.
So you didn't see that coming. You didn't plan for that. You were just doing your thing, and then it blew up.
Well, what happened is back when we did that maternity session where I bought the butterflies and all of that, somebody had reached out to me from Babbel, and they're like the Disney's parenting site, and they asked me if I had any maternity images or newborn pictures of rainbow babies, and one thing had really nothing to do with the other. It was just kind of a fluke thing. So I said, yeah, I have lots of pictures. I actually just shot this lady who lost one of the twins, and I sent all those pictures in, and they did a video, and it had 10 million views. And so they were super excited, and they said, hey, if you're working on anything else ever, let us know. And during that time, I had just talked with Valerie from So Trendy Accessories. That makes all my maternity gowns. And we were talking about newborn Disney princesses. And on my birthday, she sent me a box that had 6 little couture princess gowns, because I'm a huge Disney fan.
Yeah.
And so I opened the gowns, and I immediately thought, I have to do all 6 babies at one time. That's a must. So on my own time, I did a model call. I had 6 babies come in. We dressed them all up and did this shoot. And that was done even before Babbel had even talked to me. So I sent them the pictures, and I had said, yes, I actually was working on this project. And it's funny that you guys are with Disney, because I just did this princess shoot. So I sent her the images, and she just immediately wrote me back and said, please do not share this with anyone else. We want exclusivity to this, and we're going to do it. We're going to do a video. So they did a video, and it went viral. It had 17.9 million views.
Oh my.
So I ended up being, I had a photo shoot in Puerto Rico with my associate photographer, and we were over there. And from the time I got there, from Monday morning all the way to Friday, from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every night, I was doing interviews with Inside Edition, Insider,
What?
Huffington Post, and it was insane. Was
that awesome?
It was so amazing. It was so awesome. The PPA, I talked with them. I got a little expert from them on their online magazine. And then, so after that one,
Wow.
there was a little bit of negative feedback from that we used the original Disney princesses and we didn't have more of like the modern, more cultural princesses. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, I can't be known as that photographer either. So when I was in Puerto Rico and was going through all this, I talked to the lady and she made me 6 more dresses, and we did more of the modern day princesses like Mulan, Pocahontas, and Tiana. And so we did a whole nother shoot within like a very short period of time. And I was so nervous. I was like, how am I going to top that first shoot? It was very, I was really putting a lot of pressure on myself. I wanted it to be perfect, and it went, and it did really, really well. So then Disney contacted me and said that we would like you to do the villains, and we want to contract with you for this shoot. We're going to pay you for
Wow.
the images. And when I got my 13-page contract for them, I'm like, man, this is amazing. Like, I never in a million years would have imagined that would happen. And I just was very humbled by it, and went and started thinking about how hard I've worked and how far I've been able to come in this industry.
It's good for you.
Yeah. Well, the best thing is when I went to WPPI this year, and I walked up to the White House Custom Color booth, because little known fact about me is I used to walk around at WPPI and go, man, one day I'd really like to be like my pictures to be up there, or one of my albums or something. And so when Sarah had contacted me to send her some pictures,
Yeah.
and to be able to go there and see them up for other photographers who are amazing, for my work is up there and my albums are out there on display. I was like, wow, I've made it.
It's so fun to see that. I know. that it's like a pinnacle.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I know this is, White House Custom Color podcast and stuff, but like being able to meet the owner and just knowing that you guys are, like, he was describing it as a small business, like a small business mindset, but you guys have a lot of employees. Yeah. And meeting him just face to face, that was so incredible. And I think that's why I still do in-person consultations. I want to meet my clients. I want to know of them, know just anything about them. And so your owner, he was awesome. He was really awesome.
They're fantastic. How you also said that you were wanting to get more into educating others and helping others with their businesses. Is that right?
Yes.
And earlier we were talking, and you mentioned like one of the reasons was so that they could avoid some of the pitfalls that you experienced. Is that correct too?
Oh yeah.
What comes to mind when you think of that?
A lot of like nervousness and things that I just kind of want to just put out of my head. But no, I wish that I had, I did work with a photographer, but he didn't really talk to me about the actual business part. It was more about, lighting and posing and that kind of stuff. So sure. I feel like the business part, that's what makes or breaks the business. So if you need to know how to work your camera. You need to know everything about saving your files. You need to know all of that stuff before you even open your doors to bring a client in. One example is, I remember when I very first started, this has to be, 14 years ago. Even though I've had my studio for 11 years, I've been doing photography for quite a while. I remember my daughter hitting the table and my external hard drive fell on its side. And there was, some maternity pictures on there that I had driven like 3 hours to go to the beach, and she had already had the baby. And I remember driving to Drive Savers in the middle of the night, because they're located in California, and just being so nervous. What am I going to say? I hope they can save them. And they couldn't save them. The external hard drive had been too scratched up. So, knowing about RAIDs and Drobo, like my Drobo system, and just rewriting things and saving them everywhere possible, because your files are your everything.
Right.
So that kind of stuff, being a part of the PPA, they've helped me through several copyright issues. So if you're in making sure that if you have a studio or just any type of business that you're insured, that's a huge thing. And just like I was saying before, if you're going to call yourself a professional, be professional.
Right. I like that. Where can people find you?
People can, well, depends. They can find me on my website or they can find me. I'm pretty much always in my studio. So if you drove out to Sacramento, you'd find me here. I pretty much live here.
If they want to physically find you, you're in the Sacramento area.
I am. I do travel a lot. I do travel for clients. I've been to New York, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, a lot of times Southern California. But as far as finding me, you can find me on my website at bellybeautifulportraits.com, or I do have a Facebook page, but I do my Facebook and my Instagram are kind of linked together. So Instagram is Belly Beautiful Portraits, and that's where I post. I try to post something every day.
And then do you offer any sort of official workshops or mentorships yet?
I am going to PPI next year, and I will be teaching there, and we're talking about possibly other places as well. But I'm trying to work it out right now with bringing on an associate photographer. That's been a huge transition, hiring on new staff. So that's kind of like my main focus right now. And also focusing on just giving the best podcast ever.
Yeah. Let me ask you this to wrap up regarding the experience. Would you say that providing an amazing experience now is more important than ever?
Absolutely. 100%.
And what's the main reason why?
It just sets you apart.
Right.
It sets you apart. We do have like a very high volume studio, but every time somebody walks in the door, I want to know who they are. I want to know what I'm capturing. So, right. I mean, it's different. There's, department stores where you can go in, get your pictures done and walk out. They're investing in memories here. So they are there as well. And we're not for everyone. We are an investment. We are the higher price, but I want to know everything about my clients as much as they want to tell me.
Right. I love it. And it sounds as though you've created a space that allows people to do just that.
That's my goal.
Well, thank you for doing this. This was really great. Start to finish.
Yes. Well, thank you, Jed. I had a great time being able to talk and getting to know you guys.
Well, we will be keeping track of how things go via your Instagram account and your website. Maybe we'll see the next viral video popping up here this year sometime.
We do have a huge shoot coming up tomorrow, so I've got a lot of designing to do tonight. So
okay. Well, I will let you get to it. Thanks again for joining us and have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Jen.